What's happening here right now
Iran.
is having an impact in the Middle East and beyond.
Over the past 11 days, our military has virtually destroyed Iran.
War can feel distant for many Americans. It happens thousands of miles away, in places most people will never see. But in today's global economy, the financial impact of war can reach home much faster than people expect.
Pentagon officials told lawmakers this week that the war in Iran has cost over $11.3 billion in just the first 6 days of the conflict.
The first 6 days of the war with Iran have already cost the United States more than $11 billion. The precision missiles, airstrikes, and missile defense systems cost millions each. The real question is, who ultimately pays for it? What triggered the conflict? In late February 2026, U.S. and Israeli forces launched coordinated strikes on Iranian targets. The attacks focused on military infrastructure and strategic facilities connected to Iran's defense capabilities. The goal was to weaken Iran's ability to launch attacks and disrupt operations believed to threaten regional security.
A short time ago, the United States military began major combat operations in Iran. Our objective is to defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime.
The US and Israel hit sites across Iran and killed the supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei.
במשך 3.5 עשורים, רודן אכזר זה שלח טרור לרחבי העולם, אמלל את עמו ושקד כל הזמן, בלי הרף, על התוכנית להשמדת ישראל.
Iranian officials said a US strike also hit a school, killing more than 153 people, including many children. The US military said it was looking into reports of the incident. Iran called the US-Israeli attacks unprovoked, illegal, and illegitimate. The Secretary General of the UN condemned the military escalation.
We are witnessing a grave threat to international peace and security.
Iran has retaliated by striking Israel, and also other countries in the Middle East where the US has a presence. And it's not just hitting military targets. Luxury hotels, shopping malls, airports, oil installations, and apartment buildings have also been damaged.
Within days, the Pentagon informed members of Congress that the early phase of the conflict had already generated massive expenses, and those early costs are often only the beginning, breaking down the $11 billion price tag. So where exactly does that $11 billion go in just a few days of war? Modern military operations are incredibly complex, and each part of an operation carries a significant cost. From advanced weapons to aircraft operations and naval deployments, the expenses add up quickly. One of the biggest costs comes from precision weapons and munitions. Modern missiles and guided bombs are designed to strike targets with extreme accuracy, but that technology comes at a price. Reports indicate that about $5.6 billion was spent on munitions in the first 2 days alone.
Over the past 11 days, our military has virtually destroyed Iran. It's a tough country. Their air force is gone, totally gone. That took the better part of about 3 hours. They no longer have radar. They don't have anti-aircraft equipment. They don't have anything. Their missiles are down 90%. Their drones are down 85%. We're blowing up the factories where they're made left and right.
The $11.3 billion figure was first reported by the New York Times. Officials have also told lawmakers that $5.6 billion worth of munitions were used just in the first 2 days of strikes. Members of Congress are now raising concerns that the war could drain U.S. military stockpiles, especially at a time when the defense industry is already struggling to meet rising demand.
Why modern wars are so expensive? Wars have always been expensive, but modern conflicts are far more costly than those fought decades ago. One major reason is the advanced technology used on today's battlefields. Modern militaries rely on highly sophisticated equipment, including stealth aircraft, satellite systems, precision-guided weapons, and advanced surveillance technology. These tools are designed to increase accuracy and reduce risks for soldiers, but they also come with extremely high development and operational costs. Take stealth aircraft as an example. These planes are built with specialized materials and technology that make them difficult for radar systems to detect. Developing and maintaining these aircraft requires years of research and billions of dollars in investment. Every mission they fly involves not only the aircraft itself, but also pilots, engineers, maintenance crews, and logistics teams working behind the scenes. Naval forces also contribute to the overall cost. Aircraft carriers and their accompanying strike groups act as mobile military bases, capable of launching aircraft and missiles far from U.S. shores. Because of these factors, modern military operations can cost hundreds of millions or even billions of dollars in a short period of time, especially during the opening stages of a conflict. How this war could affect Americans. Even though the fighting is thousands of miles away, the economic impact can ripple through the U.S. economy in several ways. First, energy prices are often the most immediate effect. The Strait of Hormuz, a narrow but vital waterway for global oil shipments, plays a central role in the Middle East. Any disruption or threat to shipping there can cause oil prices to spike.
As the price of crude oil has reached heights not seen since 2022, the effects of the Iran war can be felt by consumers around the globe.
The ripple effects of a war on the other side of the world are now being felt here at home. Since the conflict began, the pump price of petrol has risen by 5 pence a litre and diesel by 9 pence.
There's nothing you can do. If you want to use your car, you've got to pay.
The government could do more in taking out some of the duty they put on.
Higher energy costs also drive broader inflation.
Gas prices have increased about 17% since the war started, but you don't have to drive a car to be affected. Nearly all goods that are bought and sold need to travel from where they're produced to where they're bought. So those costs will likely climb with higher gasoline, diesel, and jet fuel prices. Fuel surcharges will also rise as shipping companies aim to pass along higher costs to their customers, ultimately making goods more expensive. If oil prices remain elevated, fresh foods that must be transported quickly could see price hikes faster than packaged foods, which are less perishable. And heating your home and cooking food with natural gas will likely cost more as the war rages on. Economists say the spike in diesel fuel prices will likely factor into U.S. inflation.
Government debt is another long-term concern. Wars are rarely paid for entirely with existing revenue. Instead, governments often borrow to fund operations. Finally, taxpayers ultimately carry a portion of the burden. Military spending, whether in the form of direct appropriations or borrowing, comes from public funds.
What happens if the war continues? If the conflict with Iran continues, the financial and strategic costs for the United States could rise dramatically. Pentagon officials have already indicated that additional funding may be required to maintain operations, support deployed troops, and replenish weapons stockpiles. Extended military engagement often leads to billions more in expenses, not only for missiles and aircraft, but also for logistics, maintenance, and personnel support.
Donald Trump and Republicans promised not to get the American people into endless, failed, foreign, forever wars. And yet Donald Trump has just gotten America into an endless war that he acknowledges and plans to be endless, as was the case earlier today. And we've already tragically lost the lives of 6 American service members. Because Donald Trump, without justification and without coming to Congress, has gotten America into a Middle Eastern war that we know will not end well.
The true cost of war is measured not just in strategy or territory, but in billions of dollars spent and resources diverted from everyday life. In the first 6 days alone, the U.S. spent over $11 billion, with thousands of precision weapons, aircraft missions, and naval operations driving the expenses. If the conflict continues, the financial impact could grow exponentially, affecting energy prices, inflation, and taxpayers across the country. If you liked this video, wait until you see the next one.